guys, what's going on? It's Andrew from AR Media. In tonight's video, I want to review X-Men Dark Phoenix on 4K UHD Blu-ray. Now this one pretty much just got destroyed at the box office. It was dead on arrival, and critics really hated this one. So I wanted to see what this movie was about, and really if it was as bad as some of the critics said. So let's get straight into the movie here. So I'm actually a big fan of the X-Men franchise. The first and second X-Men were really staples in the superhero genre, and some of the first, they still are amazing movies, hold up great today. As they went on though, there were definitely some misses in the X-Men lineup, but overall I've enjoyed all the movies. So I did throw in Dark Phoenix, and I went in expecting the lowest of expectations based on all these reviews, and I would say that this movie definitely is not the best in the X-Men franchise, and it is probably one of the worst in the X-Men franchise. Overall, I definitely think the movie could have been better, but I did think the critics were a bit harsh on this one. I still think that this one can be enjoyed by a fair amount of people. I still think if you're a fan of the X-Men franchise as a whole, you should give this one a watch, but just don't go into it expecting, you know, the X-Men 1 or X-Men 2 level of quality. But if you enjoyed First Class, you'll probably enjoy this one. So now let's get on to the video presentation. So this was shot at 3.4K and 2.8K, and this was shot digitally. So this looks very good, very nice and crisp. For all you grain haters, this is one that you should go out and pick up. The detail here is a nice increase over the Blu-ray, specifically on close-up shots. Whenever there is makeup applied on any of the characters, like Jennifer Lawrence, you could see every single speck of makeup. There is a great amount of detail here, specifically textural detail on faces. The landscapes are really well thought out as well, with very detailed shots there. Not too much to really complain about in the detail and resolution department on this disc. I actually thought it was very good for a 2K upscale when it comes to clarity and resolution. Now let's get to the depth department. Separating the foreground from the background was easily distinguishable in this movie, and there was a great 3D factor added to this as well. Now let's get to the black levels. Black levels were deep and inky throughout, which is pretty important because this is a pretty dark movie overall, but black levels were nothing to complain about. So now let's get the HDR and Dolby Vision usage on this disc. This disc looked great, and I would say that the colors are a big part of that. There were a lot more nuances into the presentation. The colors popped a lot more than the Blu-ray, and overall it was a pretty bright mix. Now, like I said, this isn't that bright of a movie, so a lot of the scenes are dimmer, and you could see a lot more shadow detail in those dim scenes, but when it does want to get bright in specific battle scenes, there is definitely some HDR highlights and some great spectral highlights to show off on your TV. Definitely some bright images and definitely some great color usage, great nuances to the color, and good representation. So now let's get to the sound quality on this. So this was a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, and again, I have nothing to complain about here. The overheads were fairly active on this one. Right from the opening scene with the car crash, you could tell right away how the object-oriented mix is going to work. The surrounds were used pretty well. The bass, nothing to complain about there. If I did have one complaint about the audio mix, I did find the dialogue to get a bit drowned out between all the other effects in the score, but that's just me nitpicking. Really, the Atmos was used greatly, the surrounds were used nicely, and it had good bass to match. So anyway, guys, I don't think this movie was the best, and I don't think the movie was a day one pickup. I think you should wait for sale on that. But if you're just going for the video and audio quality, this was a great video and audio, and I would say it's a day one pickup. But because of the movie, I'm going to say wait for a sale on this one. Pick it up around Black Friday when it's $10. And if you're a fan of the X-Men franchise, you may be a bit surprised. So anyway, guys, let me know down below your thoughts on this movie, and I'll see you guys in the next one.